Besides the economy, education remains one of the most affected sectors since March when the lockdown was announced. But with alert level 1 since yesterday, there's now a ray of hope for thousands of South Africa's learners. For more on the state of education and the impact of COVID-19, we're joined via Skype by KwaZulu-Natal Education MEC Kwazi Mshengu. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mshengu. So what has been the impact of COVID-19 on learning and teaching in KwaZulu-Natal in the past few months? I know the province has one of the highest number of matriculants, for example.
Well, it has indeed been very disruptive in terms of curriculum coverage. We have lost so much teaching time as a province, particularly the matriculants who are really on the exit point of our schooling system. We are working hard to try and recover the time lost. And in terms of our systems, all our matriculants are in school at least now 6 days a week. So they are studying from Monday to Friday, and they are using Saturday as part of the revision, while we are also alternating other grades to ensure that we continue to comply with the COVID-19 precautionary measures. But we must admit that indeed it has been a very disruptive year. As a company, we dedicated teachers as well as the parents. We believe that we will be able to salvage the situation.
Yeah, so of course we went into level 1 of the lockdown yesterday. What changed in the education system in KwaZulu-Natal? And did you get teachers who had permission to stay at home with comorbidities coming back to school?
Indeed, all the teachers who had been given concession during the other levels of the risk-adjusted strategy did come back to school because the collective agreement which we had signed with the rest of the other stakeholders in the sector had indicated that the teachers will be given concession until level 2. So once we enter into level 1, they're all going to be expected to come back to schools. In the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we received applications of about 5,900 educators who had applied and were granted a concession. And all those teachers were back at school as of yesterday. There will be obviously those who indicated that they are still struggling because they had to undergo some intense medical attention, and those ones we have also granted them permission that they continue to be home and nursing their health while we are forging ahead with the substitute teachers who had replaced them during the time of the other levels of lockdown.
Yeah. Now, we know that access to water has been quite an issue, not just in KwaZulu-Natal, but in other provinces as well. How are you managing that issue?
Well, the issue of water in KZN has really been one of our sore points. And as you know, that schools are a reflection of their communities, and we have a number of communities in KZN that have access to water. And we had to rely on the provision of water by municipalities through the water tankers, which have proved to be very unsustainable. One, the provision of water is quite erratic because municipality capacity is quite strict. They are unable to provide water in the full water table. But also, it is quite expensive, really, to continue with the system where water is provided through municipality water tankers. In the month of June, we only had 4 grades in schools. But the department is sitting with a bill of 12 million for 1 month with only 4 grades. And now we imagine the situation will be worse with the rest of the schools, having of the kids back in school. So we then decided that we need to embark on a more sustainable program, that of drilling boreholes, which will then deal with the problem of water being provided in an erratic manner, but also it will save the department a lot of costs which are related to water. Yeah. So far, 1,000 schools have been identified in the province through the studies that were conducted by the Department of Public Works as schools that have underground water. And all those schools will benefit through the problem of boreholes in this financial year. Other studies are continuing, and once they are confirmed the availability of underground water, we will put more schools under this program in the next financial year.
Of course, the Health Minister, Dr. Mshengu, has warned the country that as much as we've gone down to level 1, we're still not out of the woods yet. So what is it that KZN is doing to ensure that both its pupils and teachers remain safe?
And the minister was correct indeed to sound that caution that we're still dealing with the pandemic. The pandemic is still there, is still as dangerous as it was at the beginning of this year. So as KZN department, we continue to provide all the precautionary means to our educators as well as the learners. We still provide them with PPEs and other COVID-19 essentials. We still are maintaining the social distancing for learners as well as the educators. That is why we are continuing with the differentiated timetable, which allows us to say grade 11 downwards, we are going to alternate in terms of your attendance in schools. It's only grade 12 that will be in school throughout, because at least with them, they are not expected to write any reconfigured paper, unlike the grade 11 and those downward grades. So we continue with all the measures that we have put in place since the beginning of June, and we think that the program of boreholes is also going to assist us a lot, because we have had instances where we had to close the school in the middle of the week because the municipality concerned has not provided water for 2 or 3 days, and that has been disruptive. So with the boreholes now being in place, those schools will be able to have water on a continuous basis.
Yeah, and just going back to the top of our conversation around the matrics, given the kind of work program you've given them, you said that they're going to be working from Monday to Saturday right through until they sit for their exams. Are you confident that this is going to be enough for them and that they can succeed?
We're confident that we will make or we realize some positive spin-offs in this program. It may not be enough because the disruption was severe. I mean, losing time from March to June and the stops and goes that we have been experiencing in our schools as a result of infections have really disrupted the system. But we're confident that we will save the academic year, and we will be engaging with the national office as to how then do we deal with those matriculants who have not come back to school, because we have realized that there's quite a number of them who have not come back to school, and then we need a decision from national as to what happened to those matriculants. But those that are in school, we are quite happy about their dedication and the level of preparedness, as well as the cohort of educators who are very dedicated to take these learners through the system.
All right, thank you very much, Ndete Mshengu, Kwazi Mshengu. He's the Education MEC in KwaZulu-Natal there.